Hello, my name is Eliseo Rodriguez, and I want to speak to you about People's Mortgage and Sharepoint. What we were doing over there in the La Mesa loans is helping them implement the Sharepoint into their sites. I know that you guys are using SalesForce, which is an awesome tool for sales, and we're not trying to, just to get this straight, we're not trying to replace SalesForce. SalesForce is a tool that does something different than what SharePoint does, and we're not trying to think about taking SalesForce away because it is a valuable tool. But what we are trying to do is add a Salesforce type system to processing. Processing has different needs, has document processing, has document retention, has all these other different needs than what a salesperson would need. And so SharePoint satisfies that need, helps increase productivity, helps keep everyone abreast, knowledgeable about where everyone is at on the loan and what needs to be done, who's doing it, what's changing, what needs to be changed, all of that. So it's like Salesforce, but for processing, more document content retention and content, keeping up with content and all of that management. So SharePoint and Dropbox and their comparisons. So we're going to go through, obviously they both work on all devices. They both sync to all devices. They both work seamlessly together. Because SharePoint is a Microsoft program, it works a little better than what Dropbox would be because it's not native like Microsoft is. But they both do the same. Sharing across from SharePoint to anyone, and anyone coming in to share into SharePoint or Dropbox is available, and they're exactly the same in those areas. And security, as long as they have an enterprise or a business account, the security is top-notch. The differences, and I'm not sure if Dropbox has this as an option still or not, but versioning in SharePoint is different because you have unlimited amount of versions. You change a document like a 1003, you can put a note in there why you changed it. The system will record who changed it, what time, why, if they left a note. And we can keep up with who's changing the document, why they changed the document, and a new person who comes into the loan can look at it and see, oh, I know exactly why they did this and where we need to go from here. So it's important for that. Being able to work on a document at the same time is important because if one person in Dropbox has a document and they're changing things and someone else doesn't have the same version or didn't upload or whatever, they could have two different versions of the document. But in SharePoint, you have one version and you can both work on it at the exact same time and it won't have a conflict. Then you have Office apps. Obviously, all of the Word, Excel, PowerPoint, those kind of things are online available for you whenever you need it. In case you're out of pocket, in case you're on vacation and there's an emergency, in case your computer burned down or something like that, or somebody stole something, you have all of that information still online for you. And there are ways of deleting that information from anyone's phone, computer, any of that stuff to keep the company's information safe. Metadata, you have ways of getting your, let's say a loan, the metadata on there is kind of like tags. And what we put on there is like on your loan, it would have the status of the loan, who's working on the loan, what stage are we in, what's the borrower's name, what's the loan number, are all needs lists in, that kind of stuff, and see which ones don't have needs lists, which ones are waiting on needs lists, which ones are in stage funding, which ones are in this stage, so you can categorize everything according to the different things that we put on it for tags. So it helps the system go really well. And then folders as well, and documents. You can say we're not using any of these documents, so don't look at anything with the do not use tag on it or something like that. Then workflows is the most important part of this whole thing, is that workflows in SharePoint is like you're keeping up with your clients in Salesforce, where you've gone through these steps, you've already talked to them, and you've already sent a proposal, and you have all this, and you know what stage you're in. Well, the same thing works in SharePoint, to where they know where they're at. Okay, what am I doing on this loan, number 18 loan? Okay, well, I've already done, I've already sent back all of the conditions, so I'm waiting on underwriter approval. And they say, okay, I'm waiting on underwriter approval. I'm not having to do anything with this. I can go to the next one, and next one, and next one. And as soon as they see their tasks that they need to do, or if they don't see any tasks, they can see what other people are doing on that loan, so that they can keep up with where the loan is. And it helps everyone stay streamlined. It helps everyone know where everyone else is at. And do I need to think about this loan right now, or can I move on to the next one? And it keeps them, or if they're, if someone's kind of disorganized, it helps you to keep yourself organized. The system itself is keeping you organized and telling you what's the due date on this, and what are the pressing items right now, and whether or not you're keeping up with your job. And so workflows help in that area. Content approval is when you have certain documents that you want to, like, let's say, disclose or something like that, and you want to make sure that everything's done. Then the processor can say, hey, double check this for me, and then if it's ready, then send it back to me, and I'll send it out. And it can say, do you approve it or disapprove it? And you can say, I approve it or disapprove it. I want you to make these changes, and it'll send it back to her to change. So content approval is important. Picture information, we don't really use that too much, but social interactions, Facebook-like conversations, and as we get into it further, chatter, and the Facebook interactions of the SharePoint site can sync together to where you can talk to your people in SharePoint from your Salesforce app on your phone or wherever you're at on Salesforce, and SharePoint people can send messages to you on chatter through the SharePoint site. So it's a seamless thing. Then Skype for Business is it's really important because it's an internal IM system, and I'm not sure if everyone knows about Link and Skype and what it does, but it's a system to where you can make phone calls, you can make video conferences, you can do obviously your text messaging, your internal IMs with it, and you can make a meeting with it and all of that, and it's secure. You can share documents and files with it, and it's secure, and it's something that is business industry standard, and it's something that helps your business grow. So if you're one of the ways that we use it is that when Jeanette is having a problem with something on the site, or she doesn't understand why this is happening on a web page or something like that, all she has to do is tell Trina what's going on, and then they share screens, and then Trina can see her screen and tell her, hey, look, this is the problem here, this is the problem there, just enter this in, and that'll be it. Or she could actually take control of Jeanette's computer and do it for her and teach her how it should be done, and Jeanette can watch. And so that's what's important about Link, and what's going to be called Skype for Business in the future, is that you have conferencing, you have IMs, you have communications, but then on top of that, you have the ability to help someone else out on another monitor across the world, on the other side of San Diego, and it brings everyone closer. And that's the important part about Link, and that is additional with the rest of SharePoint. So not only do you have all of these other systems and workflows and all this stuff, but then you have the integration with Salesforce, and then you have versioning and all of that that's important. So Salesforce and Microsoft, like I said before, are unique in that they both can share the chatter. So chatter in Salesforce can be integrated into SharePoint, to where both the processing side, which is on the SharePoint system, and the Salesforce side, which is on the Salesforce system, can meet and communicate together through that seamlessly. And because of that, it is exclusive and unprecedented communication that none of the other platforms can offer. Now, all of that being said, SharePoint is still cheaper, which is the bottom line, is cheaper than Dropbox. And Dropbox doesn't do half as much as what SharePoint offers. And so the price, as you can see there, $60 a month for 5 users, and that's minimum. You have to get 5 users to get a business site. You can't go down to 1 or 2 or 3. You have to have at least 5, and it's $720 a month at the cheapest rate that I can find. SharePoint, the cheapest rate that I can find for that, where it gives you everything that I showed you, $40 a month for 5 people, and you don't have to buy 5. You could buy 3, you could buy 2, you could buy 1. Doesn't matter. And you get, with that, all the things that Dropbox has. On top of that, all of the business apps online that you can have, all of the workflows and processing and versioning and documenting, and giving you the ability as an owner, as a manager, to track and see what they're doing, verify everything, because everything that they do is date, time stamped, and it's helping you to verify what's going on and seeing who's being a rising star, who's doing a great job, who may need some improvement, and help the business grow. And you can do more to identify what's going on with this intelligence of your business, with SharePoint giving you the opportunity to see all of the things that you don't normally are able to see because it hasn't been tracked before. And then you have the connectivity with SalesForce, which is unprecedented. So all of that together, adding to it what Dropbox has to offer, is still cheaper. So I don't really see a reason why Dropbox would be maintained, besides the fact that it's not integrated yet, and it's going to be a slow process back, towards SharePoint. And there are fixes. There are ways of merging or migrating all of the data from Dropbox into SharePoint instantly. So there are solutions for that, no problem. But I just wanted to get the information out there so you understand what SharePoint does and how it can help your business and what advantage it gives you as opposed to what you've already got right now. And I'm not saying that Dropbox is horrible. It's just it doesn't offer all of these other systems that can help your productivity be increased. So with that being said, I appreciate it.